In this video, we are going to solve question number 3 under simple numeric problems in JNTU R18 C language syllabus. For that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my terminal and going to navigate to desktop, and then I'm going to create a directory there and I'm going to name it as question 3, and then I'm going to navigate to question 3 and open the same in Visual Studio Code. Now our VS Code is opened. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a file here and name it as grading.c. Basically, you can give any name which is meaningful or which actually resembles of what you're actually coding. Here we are trying to print the grade based on the percentage given by the user, and obviously I'm gonna comment this question so that the compiler will not pick this thing up while executing the code. Okay, to start off the program, we need to know the basic structure of C program. So here we're going to take the help of Jarvis. Okay, whoever watched Iron Man would be knowing about Jarvis. Okay, hey Jarvis, could you give me the basic structure of a C program? Okay, we can see the basic structure of C program popping up on the screen. Basically, the C compiler, what it does is it will try to look for this main function in your program, and it will start executing whatever you write within this curly braces. I call it as a block. So for suppose if your logic goes from here to here, it will start executing line by line, and finally it reaches here and the program execution stops here. Main is a function and every function has a return type. Okay, if nothing is being written from the function, we have to put it as void, but here in our case we kept it integer. That's the reason we are actually returning 0 from our main function. Now we'll get into a problem. The problem actually is to print the grade, okay, whether it is failed, second class, first class, distinction, based on the percentage that actually user gives. Okay, so basically we are supposed to read percentage from standard input. Again, we'll take the help of Jarvis. Jarvis, could you just give me the syntax to read and write data to the console, please? Okay, we can see the syntax being popped up on the screen. What I'm going to do now is simply write the same here in our program. Okay, we wrote exactly what is given by Jarvis, and here we are using a function called scanf to read the data from the console. And here a is of type integer, because here in order to read a number that is integer, in C language we'll call it as integer, and we declare a variable a and we are storing in the address of a, and percentile d is a format specifier. If you look at reading an alphabet, the format specifier changed, and the data type of b, the variable, is also char. Okay, so there are different data types in C language, but coming to our program, we are supposed to read percentage from standard input. In our case, percentage would be like 1 to 100, right? Any normal normally we'll be having percentage from 1 to 100, right? So we are going to read a number, so we don't need alphabet as far as our program is concerned. So I'll remove this, and also I'll try to give the meaningful name. What we are trying to read, percentage. You can give any name that you want, but if somebody happens to see our program, it should be able, they must be able to figure out what exactly we are trying to do. And here ampersand, this is called as ampersand, and the percentage is a variable name, int is the data type of the variable. We'll try to understand what is happening here. We can see the variable name is percentage. In the diagram we can see that there is RAM. random access memory. When this program is run, what exactly C compiler does is it will create a variable called percentage of type integer, which is able to store integer type values. And here in our example that Jarvis has given, you can see 50. 50 is the value that is being stored in the variable percentage, and at the bottom of that little box you can see the address as well. So whenever you put ampersand, it means the value that is being read from the console is being stored in the variable percentage or address of the percentage. Okay, in this address, so and so address, the value is being stored. Now we'll ask the user to enter his percentage. Okay, to ask the user, we need to use a function called printf. So Jarvis, can you please help me out and give me the printf syntax, please? Okay, you can see that the printf syntax is being displayed or popped up on the screen. There are three kinds of printf statements. Okay, one is to print a message, one is to print a number, and one is to print an alphabet. In our case, we are going to ask the user to, hey, enter your percentage. So we're going to use the first thing that is given by Jarvis. So it is basically printf percentile s new line. I'm gonna ask enter, please enter your percentage. Okay, please enter your percentage, and I'll give the semicolon. So remember, every statement in the C program will be ended with a semicolon. So you should not forget, otherwise the compiler will throw a warning, an error, particularly when you are trying to compile the program. So we are asking the user to enter the percentage, and we are reading the same and storing it in a variable called percentage. Now what we are supposed to do is we are supposed to make a decision. Our C program is supposed to make a decision based on the input of the user. So basically, in order to write decision making statements in C program, we have two types or two ways of writing them. Okay, first one is if else, and the other one is switch statement. So in our case, we are going to use if else statement. So again, I'm going to take the help of Jarvis. Hey Jarvis, can you please give me the if else syntax? Thank you. I'm just done copying the same that is given by Jarvis. Let us try to understand what exactly is happening here. It's like simple English statements. Okay, if I give a condition, okay, if this condition is true, then my control will come and start executing what is being written between these curly braces. As I said in the beginning, the C compiler will start executing the program line by line, right? The moment it encounters this line at line number 13, it will try to evaluate this condition, and if this condition is true, then only it will get into this and it will try to execute what is inside that block. You can have multiple statements, okay? And if this condition is false, then it will directly jump to line number 17 and evaluate this condition. All these things will not be executed. The control will go inside this only if this condition is true. And again, it will come here and evaluate the condition here. If it is true, then only it will come here. Otherwise, it will skip here and come here. And finally, if all these conditions are false, then obviously the else block, it will get into the else block, and whatever we actually write in here will be executed. Okay. Now we'll start writing our program. So here we'll write the condition. The condition is, the first condition is, if the percentage is less than 40, we are supposed to print it as failed. So percentage is less than 40, and write as printf. So we already know the printf syntax, so I'll write it as failed. Okay, and next one is, if the percentage is between 40 and 60, what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to print second class. And if the percentage is between 60 and 70, I'm supposed to print first class. So what I'll do is I'll simply copy paste. That's the plus point of using a IDE. You can simply copy paste, so it will reduce the time of development or writing the C program. So here we need to write the condition 40 and 60. So percentage is greater than or equal to 40 and percentage is less than 60. Here in my case both percentages should be, or these two conditions, okay, this is, I'll call it as condition 1 and condition 2, should be true. So we need to understand here, in the example that we are seeing on the screen, you can see condition 1 and condition 2 are separated by two pipe symbols, right? And also else if statement, we can see condition 3 and condition 4 are being separated by two and symbols. We call them as ampersand, okay? These are equivalent to what we see in Boolean algebra. Here we have two logical statements that are given as P and Q, and if P is true and Q is true, then P or Q is also true. So if either of the statements P or Q is true, then P or Q is true. Similarly with and, okay, if the two statements P and Q, both statements should be true for P and Q should be true. We can simply Google it and understand these things. So these representations in our C language will be like OR will be represented with two pipe symbols and will be represented by two ampersand symbols. That we need to understand. So directly I'm gonna write here two conditions should be true. This condition should be true and this condition should also be true. And in order to avoid confusion, we can actually put another parenthesis here and we can put another parenthesis here. That is also correct, but we don't have to do that. Here the compiler is intelligent enough to understand. Okay, so here we'll write the condition again if it is greater than 60 and less than 70, first class. And also there is one more condition, that is distinction. So we need to write another else if here. So I copied, pasted here if it is greater than 70 and less than or equal to, percentage obviously will be between 1 and 100, right? So I'll give spaces too so that it will look nice. Here I'll print as distinction done. So if all these conditions are failed, okay, then it will come to the else block. Means the user did not enter between 1 and 100. So we'll ask the user to, hey user, invalid percentage entered, please enter the values between 1 and 100. Okay, that's it. Our C program is done. Now we need to compile the program and then run. There are two steps, compiling and running the program. Again, we'll take the help of Jarvis. Hey Jarvis, can you please help me out with the command to compile and run the C program? Okay, we can see the compilation command, gcc file name -o and binary file, right? So I'm going to open the terminal. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to compile the program. When you compile the program, you can clearly understand that there will be a binary file coming up here. You can see, you can ignore this .vs code file. There is only one file, right? But once we compile the file, this file will be compiled and a binary file will be generated. We'll see that. Okay, gcc, our file name is grading .c-o. I'll name my binary file or the binary as grading. You can give any name that you want. And yes, there are no errors or warnings. So you can see the grading appeared here right now. This is a binary file. We'll try to open it. What exactly inside here? It is telling that the file is not displayed and blah blah blah, because this is either binary or unsupported. So basically, still if I wanted to open it, we'll be seeing only junk values, because this is machine code that the C compiler will be able to understand and execute it. And again, in order to execute, the command is /binary file name, right? So I'll give // in our case it's grading. Enter. Please enter your percentage. I'll give it as 45. And yes, it's working fine, second class. And again, I'll run it. Please enter your percentage. I'll give 65, your first class. And I'm going to give 75, distinction. I'll give a failed thing also, 35, failed. some number 987. Hey, it's telling that it went into this else condition, so our program is working perfectly fine. Thanks for watching the video. If you're new to coding or trying to wake up the programmer in you, then please do subscribe this channel. More similar content would be coming soon.